The body of 23-year-old Skilyr Hicks was found at the home of a friend in South Carolina.
The musician's cause of death is still unknown.
For almost 20 years, America's Got Talent has given the world stories of hope, courage, and voices we thought we'd hear forever. But some of the brightest moments on that stage belong to people who aren't here anymore. Their songs ended far too early, leaving a silence that still feels unbearably close. Skilyr Hicks, the prodigy who never escaped her own grief. 14-year-old Skilyr Hicks stepped onto the AGT stage with a guitar almost too big for her arms, singing an original song for her father who had just passed away. That moment went viral. Millions fell in love with the girl who used music as a bridge back to someone she loved. But childhood grief doesn't fade just because a spotlight arrives.
A singer-songwriter who broke into the spotlight on America's Got Talent has been found dead. Confirmed the death, though the cause was not immediately made public. Hicks first appeared on the talent show in 2013. She was just 14 at the time.
As she grew older, Skilyr struggled with mental health, went missing multiple times, and drifted between hope and heartbreak. In 2021, she was found dead at just 23 from an overdose. Her audition remains one of the most emotional in AGT history, and every replay feels like a reminder of how fragile young talent can be. Emily Gold, the brightest dancer, carrying the heaviest weight. Emily Gold walked onto the AGT stage at 17 with the kind of energy that made her entire dance team feel unstoppable. She was the captain, the motivation, the girl who always pushed everyone forward. Teachers called her a leader, friends called her the glue. But the perfection she showed the world came with pressure she never shared.
America's Got Talent alum Emily Gold is being remembered by those who knew her best. Days after the 17-year-old America's Got Talent contestant died by suicide, her
balancing school, dance, expectations, and her own self-worth became a silent weight. On September 13, 2024, Emily died by suicide, shocking her school and the AGT community. Her teammates still perform in her memory, carrying her spirit in every routine. Emily's story became a heartbreaking reminder that some of the brightest smiles belong to people who feel safest hiding their pain. Bernie Barker, the 66-year-old performer who became a cult favorite. Bernie Barker didn't look like a typical AGT contestant. He walked out in Season 1 as a 66-year-old bodybuilder and striptease performer, earning laughs before he even said a word. But Bernie wasn't just a novelty act. He was a Guinness World Record holder, officially recognized as the oldest male stripper. Viewers loved him instantly. He radiated confidence and humor, turning what could have been a joke into a surprisingly uplifting moment on national television. Bernie proved you're never too old to start over, reinvent yourself, or surprise an entire country. His AGT appearance became one of the most talked about early season moments. But behind the stage persona, Bernie was fighting a battle he never talked about with the same energy. Shortly after appearing on AGT, he was diagnosed with prostate cancer. Despite treatment, his condition worsened. In 2007, Bernie died at 66, only a year after making America laugh and cheer for him. Fans remember him as a man who didn't care about rules, age limits, or expectations. He just wanted to perform, inspire, and entertain. And in his own eccentric way, he did exactly that. Brandon Rogers, the doctor with a voice. America never got to meet. Brandon Rogers walked onto the AGT stage with the calm confidence of someone who had already saved lives. He wasn't just a singer. He was a family doctor who recorded a Boyz II Men cover that exploded online and earned millions of views. Producers invited him straight to the show because his voice felt too pure to ignore. When he performed Ribbon in the Sky, all 4 judges stood instantly.
On America's Got Talent is dead, just weeks before getting his time in the spotlight.
I gave my life to show you that I love you more than you.
It felt like the beginning of something huge, but America never got to see his journey in real time. Weeks before the episode aired, Brandon died in a car crash at just 29. His medical school built a training center in his honor, proof of how deeply he touched people even before fame found him. Nightbird, Jane Marchewski, the golden buzzer that broke America's heart. Nightbird didn't walk on stage. She floated. A tiny frame, a soft smile, and a voice that made the entire room stop breathing. When she sang It's Okay, Simon Cowell didn't hesitate. He slammed the golden buzzer, sending her into AGT history as her audition passed 50 million views. But behind that bright smile was a brutal truth. She was fighting cancer with only a 2% chance of survival.
Adversity right now, and you are the poster human for courage in the face of adversity, for poise, for beauty, and for fight. And that's what we all need to do.
Got Talent star Nightbird has died. The Zanesville native had been battling cancer for quite some time.
By 2021, it had spread to her lungs, spine, and liver. Still, she told the world, "You can't wait until life isn't hard anymore to be happy." In February 2022, Nightbird died at 31. Her message outlived her body, and her golden buzzer became one of the most emotional moments AGT has ever aired. If stories like these matter to you, and you want more chapters of the lives behind AGT's brightest stars, take a second to subscribe. It helps us keep their voices remembered. Nolan Neil, the voice that tried to heal. Everyone except himself, Nolan Neil walked onto AGT with a voice full of wounds. He never learned to hide. He wrote "Lost" after getting clean. And when he performed it, 20 million people felt the pain he'd carried since losing his father young. Nolan had lived through addiction, relapse, recovery, and hope, cycling through them like seasons.
Am I dreaming from our grave? Or am I falling so far away? Yeah.
America's Got Talent contestant Nolan Neil has died. According to TMZ, the musician who also competed on The Voice was found dead in his apartment in Nashville, Tennessee.
Every song he wrote sounded like therapy he never finished. Fans believed AGT would be his second chance, the moment he finally escaped the darkness. But in 2022, Nolan was found dead in his apartment from an accidental overdose. He was 41. His death became a painful reminder that even the strongest voices can be fighting battles nobody sees. Neal E. Boyd, the opera champion who won AGT and lost his life. Too soon, Neal E. Boyd stepped onto America's Got Talent with a voice that didn't sound like it belonged to a small-town insurance salesman. His audition shook the room. When he won Season 3, he became the first opera singer to take the AGT crown, a moment that launched him straight into the national spotlight. Neal signed with Decca Records, performed for Barack Obama, George W. Bush, governors, and world leaders who stood silent while his voice filled entire halls. He lived a life that felt bigger than the stage that discovered him. But behind the success, his health was slipping. A 2017 car accident left him with serious injuries and worsened his existing heart and liver problems.
Was battling some pretty major health problems. He was in heart failure, kidney failure, and he had some liver problems.
Neal kept pushing forward, performing whenever he could, refusing to let the pain define him. In June 2018, everything came crashing down. Neal died at just 42 from a combination of heart, liver, and kidney failure. Fans who remembered his tear-filled finale performance struggled to accept that the champion who once shook arenas was suddenly gone. Neal's legacy remains tied to the idea that greatness can come from anywhere, even from a man who once sold insurance before AGT changed his life forever. Grandma Lee, the comedian who made America laugh until 85. Grandma Lee didn't audition for AGT like a typical contestant. She walked out with no filter, no hesitation, and no fear of the judges. At 75, she became a national sensation for her razor-sharp humor and fearless personality. Every punchline landed. Every joke felt like it came from someone who had lived enough life to know exactly how to make America laugh. She advanced to the top 10 and proved age had nothing to do with talent, timing, or ambition. But what most viewers didn't know was that Frances Lee Strong had already lived through more heartbreak than most. She lost her husband in a devastating house fire. She survived tragedies that could have broken anyone else. Instead, she turned pain into humor and chose to make people laugh for as long as she possibly could. After AGT, she toured, performed in clubs across the country, and embraced her unexpected fame. In 2020, Grandma Lee passed away at 85, leaving behind a legacy defined by resilience and comedy. Fans still revisit her, audition when they need a reminder that joy can come from the unlikeliest places. She proved laughter isn't bound by age. It's bound by courage. Tim Fort, the Kinetic King, the inventor whose act stopped too soon. Tim Fort walked onto the AGT stage with goggles, a helmet, and a pile of sticks. Nobody understood what they were looking at. Then he activated his chain reaction contraption, and the entire room lit up. Thousands of sticks snapped, flipped, flew, and released a rhythmic chaos that felt like watching engineering turn into art. He became known as the Kinetic King, a performer unlike anyone AGT had ever seen. Tim suffered multiple strokes, slowly losing the strength and coordination that made his act possible. His final years were marked by declining health, the very thing that took away the one craft he had mastered so brilliantly. In 2016, at 51, Tim passed away. Fans and fellow creators were stunned. The man who made chaos beautiful was suddenly gone, leaving behind unfinished ideas and contraptions that would never be activated. Tan Ridley, the subway singer with a stadium voice. Tan Ridley didn't need a stage to prove her power. For years, she sang in New York subway stations, stopping crowds with a voice strong enough to echo through entire platforms. When she auditioned for AGT in Season 5, viewers realized instantly why commuters used to freeze when she began singing. She delivered powerhouse vocals, became a fan favorite, and gained more recognition in weeks than she had in decades underground. Alice was also the mother of actress Gabouret Sidibe, but she built her career without leaning on anyone's fame.
Tan Ridley dies. America's Got Talent singer, mother of Gabouret Sidibe, was 72. Cause of death and last words revealed.
After AGT, she toured, released music, and continued performing with the same raw soul she had always carried. But as she reached her late 60s, her health started declining. By 2025, at 70, Alice passed away, leaving behind a career defined not by charts or awards, but by the thousands of people. She moved with nothing but her voice. Fans remember her as the woman who turned subway noise into standing ovations. She proved greatness doesn't always start on a stage. Sometimes it starts under the city, where only the brave choose to sing.